Hello students, welcome to ACE Academy. Welcome to the session on current affairs. As a part of our daily news analysis, let us today understand the recent rules issued by the Government of India for the Union Territory of J&K, that is Jammu and Kashmir, regarding domicile rules or regarding the permanent resident status. Now, what is the meaning of domicile? A domicile is considered a place a citizen or an individual has agreed to take up is permanent residence. Meaning, this domicile ensures a citizen to take up or ensures a citizen to know whether he is a permanent resident to that region or not. Now, what are the advantages of being a domicile to a particular state or union territory? There are two advantages. These two advantages are particularly given either in jobs by giving reservations or the property rights. If you look at the Indian federalism and if you look at Jammu and Kashmir became the part of Indian Union with some special status. This special status to the Jammu and Kashmir is provided by the Indian Constitution under Article 370. Now, what about the domicile rights in Jammu and Kashmir? The Government of India has passed a presidential order in the year 1954, and this presidential order has inserted Article 35 capital A, and according to this Article 35A, the powers to decide the domicile rules for the Jammu and Kashmir state is given to the Jammu and Kashmir state legislature, and accordingly the state legislature has passed these domicile rules which were completely regionable or region based. Now, in the year 2019, there are certain changes made for Article 370, and these changes has made the entire constitution to be applicable for the state of Jammu and Kashmir. And when this entire constitution was made applicable in 2019 by issuing a presidential order of 2019, the Government of India has passed Jammu and Kashmir State Reorganization Act under Article 3. According to this article, the state of Jammu and Kashmir has been divided into two union territories, and these are the Union Territory of Ladakh and the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, Jammu and Kashmir has a legislature and Ladakh without legislature. Jammu and Kashmir, a union territory with legislature, that is on par with Delhi and Pondicherry, and Ladakh without union territory, on par with other union territories like Andaman Nicobar, Lakshadweep, etc. Now, when this presidential order was passed and ensuring the entire constitution is made applicable to Jammu and Kashmir, now it was a duty of the central government to make domicile rules, new domicile rules. In the April 2020, the Government of India issued a notification which contains the domicile rules for the state of J&K. Now, what are the new rules? Now, the government came with three major conditions for a citizen to be called a permanent resident of Jammu and Kashmir. And all these three conditions are very interesting, and these are given in April 2020. Now, what are these three conditions? The first condition is a person who is a resident of Jammu and Kashmir for 15 years, he is eligible to become a permanent resident. The second condition, any person including any migrant who is registered if he or she studied in any educational institution within Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory for 7 years, and this includes he or she has studied 10th or 12th class, then he or she is eligible to become a permanent resident. The third condition, the children of the central government officials, either the children of PSUs, either the children of central university officials, either the children of bank employees, these parents, if they have served the state of Jammu and Kashmir for almost 10 years, the children of these parents are eligible to become a permanent resident. Now, one interesting point here to note down is these rules are applicable even for the migrants. And according to Article 35A of the Constitution, and according to the rules framed by the Jammu and Kashmir State Legislature, an Indian who is not from Jammu and Kashmir is not eligible to become a permanent resident of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, there is a chance for the Indians who are not born in Jammu and Kashmir, even they have a chance to become the permanent residents. But these rules also brought one more condition. Now, when a person is called a permanent resident, as I told you, they get two advantages. The first one is jobs and property rights. They can own their property. Now, these people who are called the permanent residents can own their property. Now, what about the reservations in jobs? Under Article 35A, the rules given by the Jammu and Kashmir State Legislature, the domiciles before as a reservations in jobs related to Group A services, Group B services and Group D services as well. But the new rules given by the Government of India in April 2020 says these domiciles will get reservations or will be provided reservations only in Group D jobs, meaning only in non-gazetted officer employees. There was an uproar in the state of Jammu and Kashmir when this is announced. Now, keeping this into the view, the Government of India in the month of May 2020 has brought certain changes to the rules, domicile rules, and according to these rules, all the domiciles will be provided reservations in Group A, Group B and as well as Group D services, meaning all the domiciles are extended, all the reservations to these domiciles are extended in all the public recruitments in Jammu and Kashmir. So these are the new domicile rules which are important for your prelims. Now let us look into a practice question. This practice question is related to the topic which we have discussed yesterday. And yesterday the topic was about the 5 big announcements of RBI. Let us see. Consider the following and choose the correct statement. Statement number 1. RBI recently decreased the repo rate by 40 basis points. Statement number 2. Decrease in repo rate ensures liquidity in the market. Both the statements are correct. Answer is C. Yes. RBI has recently decreased the repo rate by 40 basis points, meaning it was 4.40 and this was brought to 4%. When the interest rate, when the repo rate is decreased, this makes banks to take more loans from the RBI. Now, when there is more liquidity available with the banks, they give more loans, and this more loans ensures proper liquidity in the market, which ensures a growth rate increase. But if the liquidity in the market is not controlled, it may lead to inflation as well. So there is always a growth versus inflation which runs in the economy. The government of India take measures to increase the growth, and the RBI issue certain directions to control the inflation. So this is the practice question for the day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with another news item. Thank you very much.